my Scratch beginner tutorial series. Welcome to this brand new video. Now last video I didn't actually clearly explain to you guys how to use the Scratch coding editor. I just sort of jumped into it and started coding at my own speed. I'm really sorry if you couldn't understand a lot of stuff. Now today, this episode, I'm actually going to be going over everything in a very calm way. Last episode I just wanted to give you a taste of what coding on Scratch looks like, and because of that I sort of just went crazy and started doing everything. Now we're on the Scratch homepage. Now I'm actually going to be teaching you something very simple before we start coding. Actually, this episode will not be not coding the entire time. We'll spend most of our time coding, but I just wanted to teach you guys the simple thing. As you can see, we have this It's Me Nami over here. Now there's a thing called signing out of your account. Now if you don't know what signing out means, it means we made our password, we made our account in the last episode, but the problem is if you want to log out, if you don't log out, then someone can get access to your account. So say like your account is open, and if someone finds out on which computer it's open, like on my computer, my account is now open. So that means someone can actually get into your account and do stuff to you, only if you're not currently using it though. So every time you're done with Scratch and you're gonna take a break to do something else, play something else, then if your mouse is here, then bring it over to your username at the top right corner. Now as you can see, it says your username, your profile picture with a little drop down sign here. So with the mouse, and then you bring it right over here, and then you click on it, and then you see a lot of options here: profile, my stuff, account settings, sign out. Now we've already went over profile and my stuff and account settings in the last episode, but as I said, I didn't calmly go over it. I just sort of jumped right into it. So if you want to log out of your account, you just click on sign out, and as you can see, we're now on the Scratch main page. If you want to go back inside, you have to bring your mouse to the same area, and as you can see, there are two buttons: join Scratch, sign in. Now you've already joined Scratch, you just have to go into your existing account. So click on sign in, and then write your username. Here it's me Nami. And then write your password. Remember from last episode, you cannot say what your password is. So in this first area, you write your username, and in the second area, you write your password. Now your password are these little weird black balls, because of course if someone's looking behind you and you don't know about it, and you're somewhere in the public using your computer, you don't want someone to see what your password is. So that's what this is. And then you just have to get your mouse over here and click on sign in. And as you can see, we are back in our account. Now, today I've actually prepared a little bit to teach you guys what we're going to do. So just do the same thing. Bring your mouse to your username, click there. There's actually two ways to go to your project folder. One way is clicking on your username again, and then clicking on my stuff, which is very obvious. You just click on my stuff, and then you go here. Another way is to just click here. Now this is actually if you're on the Scratch main page, it looks different. It looks like this. You have to click here, and then you can also go to your project area. Now as you can see, I've already prepared a project for episode 2, which is this episode. And last episode we were making the race game, but we'll go to the race game over later, because today I actually want to give you guys a brand new introduction with a lot more details. So I'm going to go inside my project. If you want to click on a project, you just have to, let me go back to my stuff. You have to click on the title of the project. So if you hover your mouse over it and just click on it, or you can just click on see inside. That will bring you to the code immediately. By clicking on the title, you go to the area of the project, and by clicking on see inside, you go to the coding place. So when you click here, you come on this page. But if you click here, then you go in the actual coding interface. Now as you can see, we have our little Scratch cat here. Now don't worry about this code yet. I'll explain it very, very soon. Now when you click on the green flag, now before we actually start immediately, I'd like to explain the scratch code setup. So, as you can see, we have all of our blocks here. I think you already know that from last episode. I said I was going to be going over every one of these sections in the next episode, but I'm only going to teach you these first 5. I'm not going to teach you these last 4 because that's already a bit complicated, and that will be like one of our last episodes of this beginner series. So, first of all, before we go to the sections, I mean, yeah, I know I'm kind of all over the place. It's all very confusing, but we'll get to it. As you can see, we have 3 buttons here: code, costumes, sounds. If you can't find them, they are on the top left corner of your screen. Don't ignore these buttons. We'll get to them very soon, but for now, look at code. So for code, these are the blocks. Like, these are all of the blocks that you can get to, like get start play sound meow until done. That plays a meow sound, as you can see. I don't know if you guys hear that actually, but I think you guys can hear it. Meow. Okay, so that's the code section. And if you go to costumes by hovering your mouse over it and clicking on it, you can see that we have our usual scratch cat here. Now you can actually do anything you want to him here. You can, if you select his arm, you can actually make his leg super big, and kind of make it super big. If you want scratch cat to become a giant, you can always just do that. So here is the place where you can edit scratch cat and do stuff to him. Now as you can see, I've basically ruined scratch cat. This is the place where you can edit him. So how you do this is, I'm first of all going to get rid of all of my changes, so he's a normal scratch cat again. Now as you can see, we have scratch cat here, and I'll explain to you how you have to edit him. Now we have 2 costumes, costume 1, costume 2. These are built in because we chose a sprite from the existing scratch library, and mostly these sprites have their own built-in costumes. Now you might be asking, Nami, what is a costume? I have no idea what a costume is. A costume means 2 ways of a sprite. So we'll get to how you change specific costumes in a moment here. This is not the coding editor. This is the place where all your code runs, and this is the place where you design your sprite. So we have him and the running guy here. These are both costumes of this sprite. So you can go a code that it constantly changes from that to that. So as you can see, you look here. Don't look here, because look here, and I'll keep clicking on costume 1 and costume 2, and look what happens to him there. See, he's changing. He's constantly changing. This basically means that costumes are sprites inside of sprites. You can make them anything you want. And these are normal sprites. You can always get another sprite. So if you want to get another scratch cat, you don't actually have to duplicate scratch cat and then make another one. You can just create a new costume here and then run the code to change him to another costume. So that's what costumes are. I'll be making a separate episode on how this whole paint editor works next episode. But anyways, let's actually move over to sounds now. Sounds is the place where you make sounds like meow, meow. Here you add more sounds into your sprite to play them in the code section. You can copy code. We'll also be doing a separate video on this in the future. So, the moment you've all been waiting for, the code area. Now, as you can see here, we have our little code here. So I've already made a built-in code to teach you guys what this is. Now this video will be a little longer than I expected because I'm going to be going over a couple of stuff in this episode. So as you can see, we have this to be continued comment here. Now, making a comment and deleting a comment is a very simple process. Now before we get to that, I'd like to teach you one more thing, guys. One more thing, don't worry. This is the sprites area. As you can see, we have our sprite here. You can make it visible and not. So if you turn it to invisible, as you can see, he's gone now. You can't see where he is. And if you click here, he'll actually come back again. So get your mouse, make him invisible, and make him visible again. And you can also change its size to something like 500, but there's also like a max size limit. I mean, we don't want like giant scratch cards like walking around your project like this. As you can see, he can almost fit into the sprite editor itself. You can also change its direction to switch where he looks. So as you can see, we have our little geometrical thing here. Now if you don't know what geometry is, don't actually worry, you'll learn about it in school. Basically think about it like you look to right or left. Think about it like that way. 90 means he looks at the right side, and 180 means he looks down, and 360 basically means that he's going to be 360 means nothing. But if you don't want to make those numbers, you can always just turn him around like this. You can choose a random number, and the number will basically set itself to whatever is correct. Now don't make him topsy-turvy because he'll get nausea. But as you can see, we have X and Y positions here. Now this is what I'm going to be teaching us later, as X and Y's are things that seem complicated but are not. So let's get to the whole code section here. So as you can see, we have this little code. When green flag clicked. Now if you don't know what the green flag is, the green flag button is over here. Like in a line from the C project button, in a like diagonal line. When you click on it, your code runs. Now as you can see, he says, "Hello Scratcher, welcome to my super cool tutorial show." And stop button is actually how you stop your project. Green flag and stop. Now I'm gonna set my scratch cat size back to normal again because that's a little bit overboard what I just did. So as you can see, it's normal again now. Now starting your project is green flag. I'm just repeating it again. And stopping it is red flag. But red flag doesn't actually run if your project is a little laggy, which is what's happening right now. So don't actually worry about this comment. We'll be getting to that very, very soon. For now, I'll actually remove it. Now, this is actually called the say block. Now, the say block is actually a block that lets you say stuff for a specific amount of seconds. So when green flag clicked, any code you attach to it will like you see this little gray area, just insert it there, and anything that's attached to this will happen when you click on the green flag. And to run now, if you want to run more code under the green flag click, don't actually put it above into the green flag clicked. Put it below the code that you already had. So now it will say hello Scratcher, and then it will say welcome to my super cool tutorial show, as you can see. Now let's now go over all of these sections without getting distracted. So motion is actually really simple. Motion means you're going to motion doesn't mean the toilet. Motion is actually something very, very interesting, and it's very important when you're making your Scratch project. Move 10 steps. Move 10 steps basically means walking, Move 10 steps makes your sprite here move by 10 steps. So if you click on move 10 steps, you'll move 10 steps. As you can see, he's constantly moving 10 steps. If you spam click it, he'll just go away off into the distance. So that's what move 10 steps is. And you can also see a lot of things like turning around and pointing towards specific directions, a direction value. So this is basically like direction and walking. You can relate with this in real life. Walking around, looking somewhere. Everything that has to do with moving around and looking somewhere is the motion category. Now that's the first category. Now let's actually move on to the next one. Looks. Now motion is here. You just have to click on looks. And as you can see, we have many blocks here that has to do with the look of your sprite. Now currently we have our sprite plain here. Now, what if we want him to look different, or what if we want some text bubbles to appear above him? So that's what the say blocks are for. Say hello for 2 seconds. So hello basically say hello says hello. You can make a line like over here, an invisible line, and as you can see, you can change how many seconds he says that. So if you want him to say that for 100 seconds, he'll constantly say hello for the next 100 seconds. Now let me actually get rid of the when clicked flag code, I'm going to drag the code out of there and put there and replace it with say hello for 100 seconds. Now he will keep saying hello for the next 100 seconds, but I'm not going to waste 100 seconds of my time listening to that. So now you can get rid of this code again and insert say hello scratcher to when green flag clicked. You can also do think if you don't want a chatting bubble and you want like a cloud bubble that's about thinking, then you can use the think block. Switch costume. We just learned what costumes are. They're basically sprites inside sprites. Switch costume. Now as you can see, we click on costumes and you go back to code. That's how you switch between the sections. So as you can see, you select switch costume to costume 2 and you drag it over into your code section. And once it's here, you can change it to whatever you want. So costume 2, as you can see, it's turning into a running costume. Change it to costume 1, it does that. So you can get rid of these guys again, drag them away from green flag clicked, and insert switch costume to costume 1, which is very, very cool if you ask me, because then you can just infinitely start doing this. But since we are already in costume 1 and we're telling it to change to costume 1, it won't actually do anything because we're already in costume 1 and you can't see it change again because it just has already happened. So let's put our code again, drag it over to when green flag clicked and get away this code. To delete the code, you basically have to drag it over to the code section, like click it and then drag it. And then when you bring it here, you have to just leave your mouse alone, and as you can see, it just went into the crowd. Now that was basically looks and motion. Sound is all your sound blocks. Not much to say here. Change pitch effect. It changes the pitch effect of your sound. So if you want to bring a code into the code section, remember, click on it and drag it over into the code section. And then leave your mouse alone again. So as you can see, play. Now let's actually attach change pitch effect by 10 above meow because we want the pitch effect to be very loud. Now if we do normal meow sound, let me actually decrease my sound because this could actually be extremely loud. If we do normal play sound meow till done, it's not that like high pitched, but if you do change pitch effect by 10, it'll actually like be screaming because if we can actually change it higher now. As you can see, it's starting to sound like a mouse because the pitch effect is very high. That can actually be disturbing for some people. I'm extremely sorry if that's the case. I don't actually know if you guys hear that. Maybe you guys can't hear what's happening inside of the computer. Now, let's actually get rid of that. Play sound meow till done, change pitch effect by 10. Now you know what the sound section is. That is about all of the sound related stuff. We'll get to that too in a future episode. Events though, this is a very important area. We have many stuff here like when green flag clicked. Now if you want to bring a block into the code section, I think you guys have memorized this by now. Click on it and drag it over here. Just practice that, bring it, and if you want to delete it, drag it back into the area and put it away. Just leave your mouse. So drag your when green flag over here. Now when green flag click, that's actually very easy. You just any code attached under it will occur when you click on the green flag, which basically means starting your project. Now that is very simple. And then you can do when space key pressed. Drag it over to the code section, and when space key pressed is actually important. Now I think you all know about the space bar in your keyboard. You just have to click on the space bar. Now when the space key gets pressed, you want something to happen, but what should happen when you click on the space key? Then that's the same as the when green flag clicked. You have to get your code. Now let's actually go to the looks category, get or say block, which basically says something for a certain amount of time. We'll keep the say hello for 2 seconds. We'll attach it over to when space key pressed, and as you can see, now let's actually break this code apart because I don't actually want anything to happen when the green flag gets clicked. Now when you click on the space key, click on the space key on your keyboard, he says hello. As you can see, he says hello for 2 seconds. So that's what when space key press does. You can always just click on this little drop down here to change it to A, B, any key, up, down arrow, and you can do basically every single key on the alphabet except some things like the delete key. You can't actually use the delete key. So you guys know what to do to delete a code. Drag it and then put it in the code section and just attach your code to when green flag clicked again. So the events category basically has stuff like you have to attach code under it, so it will be constantly waiting, like when green flag clicked. So this code will be constantly waiting until the green flag is clicked, and when the green flag is clicked, it will like think about when green flag clicked, like a boss of a couple of workers, and these below blocks are actually the workers. The boss keeps waiting until a customer comes. Now they're running a sandwich shop, and the boss there is actually waiting for someone to come and buy sandwiches with just clicking the green flag. And when someone has come to buy sandwiches, he tells the workers there to start cooking up the sandwiches, which basically means he's waiting for the green flag to be clicked, and then he'll tell the below scripts to start doing what should happen when the green flag is clicked. I hope you do understand that. I hope to make it very understandable. Now that's what the events thing means. I hope you guys have got a good idea of what these 4 sections means. I'm gonna let you tell what this means on my Scratch profile, because by now you have an account. You just have to go to my Scratch profile and then explain to me what these are. So next category is control. Now, control has many blocks. We're not going to be going over all of them yet. But control basically means you're not doing anything to your sprite. You're basically going to do something that's going to run for a while. So when you go to control, as you can see, we have wait 1 second. So if you want a 1 second break before you go over to the next save block, now as you can see, we have our code. Your hello Scratcher. And then he'll say, welcome to my super cool tutorial show. Now, if you now get rid of this code, unattach it from these first 2 codes. When you put wait 1 second there, and then you attach your say welcome to my super cool tutorial show under it, then he'll say hello Scratcher. Wait 1 second, welcome to my super cool tutorial show. Now as you can see, there was 1 second break in between there. Now that's what wait 1 second block does. I hope everything has been clear. And these are basically like more confusing blocks. Now forever and repeat are what we're going to be going over right now. Repeat is a very interesting block. It repeats the code for like 20, like you can change it. So if you want a code to happen 2 times, at the moment you have to right click on the code and then click on duplicate and then drag it over here and then attach it again. But we don't want that work. We don't actually want to get, if you want to do 10 times and you have to duplicate it and keep putting it 10 times, we don't want that. If you just want it to happen 10 times, then get rid of this extra code you added and get repeat 10 and and unattach these 2 blocks from when green flag clicked and insert them inside of the repeat 10 times block and attach the repeat 10 times block to when green flag clicked. Now the same thing will keep happening for 10 times now. We're not going to be going over it the entire 10 times, but as you can see, it's starting over again. So here basically what happens is our sandwich boss is waiting for a customer to come, and then he tells the below blocks to run, but then there comes another customer. There are like 10 customers waiting over there. But if one worker has to do all the work, it's way too much work for him. So he calls up on 10 other people and they start helping him, and that's what basically this repeat 10 is. It basically makes it way easier to run your code. Now forever is another thing. We can't use the sandwich thing here, so you want to drag out say hello Scratcher from your repeat 10 loop, and you're going to grab the repeat 10 block and you're going to put it away, like delete it. As you can see, it went away. Now you're going to get your forever code and attach it onto when green flag clicked. And then you're going to get your existing code and then put it in there. Now what this does is it will run your code for eternity until someone clicks on the stop button. Now as you can see, he will just keep saying the same things over and over and over again. He'll never stop. He will only stop if we click on the stop button. So that's what the forever thing is. We'll be going over these other blocks in another episode. And as I said, we're not going to be going over these sections here. So that is what everything in the code area means. I hope you got a basic understanding now of what everything means. I really didn't try to make it confusing. I'm really sorry if you actually felt so. I hope you understand most of the blocks at least, because we can't go over all of these blocks yet because that's already a little bit confusing. But I think until the next episode shows up, you guys will actually learn many blocks, because it's the way it is to describe the blocks. It's actually very easy to understand. Now, today we're going back to a race game. What I was showing you guys right there was just an example to let you guys know what it was. So if you want to get out of your project, you bring your mouse over to C project page right over here, and then you click on it, and then you guys know how to do this. Go to my stuff, and then we have our race game over here. Click on race game, and then click on C inside to go inside it. Now I hope you guys remember the race game. Our code is still intact. As you can see, they both reach the end and we have to drag them back. This episode, I'm going to be teaching you two things. How do you make them talk to each other when they reach the end? And also, how do you make them go back to where they were when the green flag is clicked again? So, for the first thing, making him say something, click on the look section. We just learned how to do that. And then as you can see, we're in the bear sprite right now. So bear is actually the dude that loses. So he'll say, oh no, I lost to a cat or something like that. So if you go here, it says say hello for 2 seconds. You want to select it and drag it over here and put it under our existing repeat code. And here you will say, oh no, I lost a race to a cat. And then you set it for 4.5 seconds. That's what I'm going to set it to. As you can see, he says, oh no, I lost a race to a cat. See, now it works. And then he stopped it after 4.5 seconds. Now let's go to Scratch Cat now. You want to click on Scratch Cat. And you also want to drag say hello for 2 seconds from here. And you want to say, yay, I won a race to a bear. And then you set that to 4.5 seconds. Now, as you can see, it happens. Oh no, wait, we actually did it too early. As you guys can see, we're going to be going over how to bring them back very soon. As you can see, they go, oh no, I lost a race to a cat. Yay, I won a race to a bear. See, I hope you guys understand now how that works. Now, let's actually see. I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make them go back. Now, we have these X and Y values here. Now, what does X mean and what does Y mean? You guys have probably been asking this for the whole time. Now, the answer is actually right where you found it. You have these little arrow signs here. So, think of it that X basically means horizontal. So, if you don't know what horizontal means, horizontal is not from up to down, but right to left. It's like a clear view like this. Like a straight, just think of a straight line from here until here. That's horizontal. Like a horizontal line, it means that right from left or left to right, not up to down or down to up. So X basically stands for horizontal. And Y is up and down. So Y stands for down to up. And Y is actually very cool because you can actually make your sprites float with that. So Y stands for vertical, and vertical means up to down. So X and Y, hopefully you understand it now. X means a horizontal line and Y means a vertical line. Very, very simple. Now, how do I use this? How is this going to get of any use to me? You can all now, if you want to edit your X and Y positions, you can always just double click your X and change that to like 240. Now, as you can see, our scratch card is actually somewhere way else in the corner here, and you can change his Y so that he actually goes higher, like 100. Now, as you can see, Bear went way higher there. We can also do that with scratch card. He's at minus 168. We can change that to 200, and as you can see, he's way up in the clouds. Now, you can actually also use that in your code. So X basically starts over here. So like, now to choose a backdrop, you have to bring your mouse all the way over here. You hover over it, and then you click, and then you see these many options here. And if you hover over one of them, you'll see choose a backdrop, that green thing over there. You click on that, and as you can see, we have many stuff here. Now, the reason I told you this is because we're going to be looking at a grid, XY grid, 20 pixels. But we're going to be taking this grid. And as you can see, this grid is basically showing us all of the values. Now, we'll temporarily make our sprites invisible. We'll make them visible again, don't worry. Now, as you can see, we have this. Like, what does that mean, you might be asking? This is actually a very important part. So, X values, like I said, is the horizontal line. And as you can see, X actually has a value. It goes like this. And Y has a value when it goes vertical like this. Y has a number, minus 180, and here it's 180. So what this basically means is horizontal lines actually have a value for X, and Y have like values for that. Now, you might be asking, what in the world are you talking about? I don't understand any of this. What? Guys, it's the simplest thing yet. Now, oh no, this is bad. Oh my god, thank god that actually worked this time. So, X minus 240. Now, this is actually very simple. As you can see, your X position, you drag your block over here. Now, as you can, we'll make scratch card visible again. And when you click on X position, it says minus 132. And the X is minus 132. Now, why is this minus 132? Now, as you can see, the X value here is minus 240. And if you go all the way, and there's this giant grid here. If you make your mouse go all the way over here and align it to scratch card, and you bring it here, this is the position of it. So minus 132 and minus 240, that's the distance between there and there. So if your sprite is over here, it's actually minus 201 because this place is minus 240. Now he'll be 2, if you set him to minus 240, you'll actually be exactly where the grid says 240. And if you but it's actually minus 240 because he's on the other side. If you set it to positive 240, oh wait, that's actually minus. No, I don't actually want minus. I want normal 240. So you can see it goes on the other side of the screen where it's written 240. But we were going over the X value right there, which is the horizontal line. Now, we want to change the Y value, but Y value is minus 180. So if your Y value here is minus 180, then he'll be here. So if you set that to minus 180, as you can see, he's over here because Y basically means the correct position where he is. So you might be asking, Nami, 180 is here, why is he over there? Because it's a grid. You can't basically mean lines like that. So you just have to think that right over here is a line. So if you set it to 180, he'll actually go over here where my mouse is hovering right then. Yeah, as you can see, he's over there now. So hopefully you guys understood what X and Y values are now. Like, think about it. x is minus 240 when he is at the left side. When our sprite is at the left side, he's at minus 240. When he's at the right side, he's just normal 240. And when he's at the south side, he's minus 180 y, not x anymore. Here it says x, but now it's y. And up and in the north, it's y 180. And you can set that to any value you like. If you want him to go in the middle, you just set x to 0 and you also set y to 0. And as you can see, it's exactly in the middle now. This grid is actually very helpful. You just have to hover over here, click on choose a backdrop. Now, for some reason, this is glitched. I assume it's because of, this zoom out bug that just happened. But you can select choose a backdrop. You just click there, and as you can see, we have our many backdrops here. Now, sorry about this. You just type in grid, and as you can see, you have many grids to choose from. This is the one we just used, but if you don't want all of these text and you just want like a line and you have memorized the numbers of the x and y's, then you can just use a normal line grid and not something crazy with all of the lines. So hopefully you guys understood what x and y values are. Now, change x by 10 is actually, now I'm going to be going over these blocks in the next episode. I said I was going to go over these blocks this episode, but I just wanted to teach you guys these normal values. Like, these values are the things you need to know right now. So as you can see, x position is going to say 0 because he's in the middle right now. But if we go bring him somewhere else, then it's going to say 119 because he's at 119, which is correct because here it's 240, and for 240 it'll be all the way over here and 119. Now as you can see, 100 is here and he's apparently 19 pixels, no, 48 pixels. So it's actually very far from 100. So that's why he's at 148x. A pixel basically means like a very small dot on the screen, like over here. You can't actually see those pixels, but that's how computers work. So hopefully you guys understood what x and y values mean. If you have questions, ask me on my Scratch profile, and if you have more questions, just ask me in Facebook comments because my YouTube comments get disabled. It's because of COPPA. Okay, don't ask me because it's because of COPPA. It's an important rule. Now as you can see, our race game is currently kind of weird. Don't worry about it. We can always make that back. Now, I did say I was going to teach you guys, I'm going to make him visible again, how to make them go back to where they were. But I think you guys understood that by now. Go to X and Y. This block is very easy now for you guys. If you click on it and you drag that over here, you just set it to there. So if you want to test on where it is, say you want him to go back to this area. So when the project starts, we don't want him to be here because if we start this, as you can see, it doesn't go back to where he just was. He just goes straight over there. Now, if you want him to come back to the beginning, you basically do, so remember this number, minus 1984 is what this is here. If you just change that to 84 now, and you drag the code over to when green flag clicked and put it above here, and you run the race, and you start it again. As you can see, Bear went back, but ScratchCat didn't because we didn't do the code yet. Now, when we ask, oh my god, Nami, this is magic. Listen, okay? X and Y values. It's all because of X and Y values. If you bring it back over here, it says, it says go back to X minus 19, and minus 19 is over here. So we'll go back there. It's very easy. And ScratchCat, now we can calculate it for ScratchCat. So you can see it's for ScratchCat, it's go to minus 157, minus 18. Now luckily it's already there for us because it's right over there. You just drag it back under when green flag clicked, and as you can see, they both go back to the beginning when you click. Just infinitely start doing this. Now hopefully you guys understood everything I said in this video. Extremely sorry if you didn't understand something. if you're a parent or you're actually a child listening to this and you have comments, always just ask me in my Facebook comments and I'll respond to them. Or if it's like a very big question, I'll actually note it for the next episode and I'll actually talk about it. Don't worry if you understand something, guys. Programming languages or complex things, they're not like something you can learn in a snap. It's like an education. To really master a programming language, it will take like 6 years. Like sometimes it takes even 10 years for some people. Now, the reason I learned Scratch in like 3 years is because it's an introductory programming language. But still, 3 years for an introductory programming language, that's still big, you know. So only if you start sincerely code on Scratch for the next 3 years, or maybe if you understand things quickly, maybe it will take like what 2 days for you. You never know. But only if you put that much effort into learning a programming language, can you really like understand it and go crazy with it. Then only then will you be able to master a programming language. Now, sorry that this video is actually so long. I expected it to be shorter, but listen, we went over a lot of things in this episode, and even coming this far has been a big deal. But anyways, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I really hope you learned something from it, because I'm only making this video so that you learn stuff and you start your road to programming, because programming is very important in this century. But anyways, as I said, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Click on C project page to get rid of your project. I mean, not get rid of it, go out of your project. And as you can see, we are on our project page, and if you start the project, they both go and they say it. Now, I'll actually add one more thing. Click on control here. And as you can see, we have this wait 1 seconds block. Just drag it over above, go to X, Y. And as you can see, he'll actually wait 1 second before he starts. Because if it happens that fast, then listen, okay? It's really not fun. So as you can see, we'll just between 1 seconds and put there. Now our race game is going to be a lot simpler now, because if they just immediately start going, it's kind of weird. Now as you can see, they wait 1 second and go back. Now there's actually a small glitch. Now the way you fix glitch, I'll talk about that in the next episode. So let me actually put go X above here, because we want him to go in the position before he waits, and do the same here. Now if you don't understand what I'm doing right now, next episode we'll be going over debugging and all that sort of stuff. That's already a little complicated, but I'll just go over it for 10 minutes so you get the basic idea, but not too advanced. Now as you can see, they wait 1 second and then the race starts. Anyways, that's the end. Okay, I won't brag about it any further. You learned a lot today. You should be happy about yourself. Clap for yourself. Don't even be ashamed. You learned a lot today. If you understood every single thing, I really appreciate it. If you made it to the end, you've learned so many things today. Congratulations. This is a major step on your Scratch learning. Now, again, hopefully you enjoyed this video. I'm saying this again and again because I'm doing a tutorial for myself now, saying that again and again. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like, share and subscribe, because I want many people to see these tutorials and learn more about Scratch. I really hope you learned something from this. And it's me, Nami. Or wait, it's us programmers. Yeah, that's the epic outro. It's us programmers.